All right, everyone. So we're going to go over the market from today. I'm going to recap the trades that I took. Overall, not a bad day, but you know what was interesting is today at one point I had 4 stocks on my level 2 that I was watching, and all 4 of them were halted at the same time. What that said to me was, number one, we do have some volatility today, but number two, and this is a bit of a problem, attention is dispersed. When you have attention dispersed across 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different stocks, it reduces the amount of volume they each have when compared to a day when everyone is focusing on one stock. When everyone's focusing on one stock, all that volume, sort of comes together and one stock has crazy high relative volume. And that's usually when we see some really explosive moves. Now, sometimes we'll have a stock that's fairly obvious and has a lot of volume but is thickly traded, and I think we did have that issue a little bit today on MLEC. This was our leading gapper going into the open. It's up 75% right now, although you could see at the open it has started to pull back a bit. It's got a 37 million share float. It does have news, USDA approval, plant-grown animal proteins, gross. 57 million shares of volume here. So, I mean, yes, it's something people are focusing on, but it's super, super thickly traded. And that's partly because the float is higher. There's a much higher level of supply, and that's sort of diffusing the demand. So the volatility is not as big on this one as it is, for instance, on EDBL. EDBL, look, the volume, the float is 300,000 shares. It's got 1.8 million shares of volume. So when we're thinking about that relationship between supply and demand, float is a very important component. So let me grab the whiteboard here, and I'm just going to kind of illustrate this, hopefully in more detail to help you guys really get your head around it. So when we have a stock like EDBL, the float is, let's just round up, 300,000 shares. That's ridiculously low. And that's in part because it's done a lot of reverse splits. The volume today is nearly 2 million shares. So 2 million shares. So this right here represents supply, and this represents demand. So there's no doubt in this relationship right here, you've got, almost 10 times more demand than you have supply. 300,000 shares of supply, 2 million shares of demand. And what does that result in? Stock's up 50%. And it's up 50% even on relatively light volume. It's moving quickly. So it's up 50% on 2 million shares of volume. If it had 4 million shares of volume, I would wager it would be up, closer to 100%. If it had 8 million shares of volume, we'd probably be up closer to 200%. We would see that exponentially the price would go up as demand increases because supply is fixed in this equation. Supply doesn't change. So what we're really looking at is supply and demand, and then how that leads to percentage change on the day, the relationship of supply and demand, and the current ratios that we have. So then when we look just for comparison at, MLEC. So MLEC, this one has right now 57 million shares of volume. So the volume, which is the which is the demand, is 57 million. And the float, or the supply, is 37 million. So the ratio here is that it's like 50% higher, right? Yes, there is more demand, but it's not even double the supply level. So this ratio is not as, you could actually do the math, but this isn't a huge imbalance. And it's impressive that it's up 75% despite that imbalance. Now, if we saw this volume, let's just say, for instance, we saw 200 million shares of volume, then we would be looking at a bigger percentage gain. There's no doubt about it. But as the day is going to go on, while volume will increase, unfortunately, we're at a point now where we're going to need, I would say realistically, you need a float rotation of at least 10 to have usually what we would say would be pretty good moves and well-sustained moves. This isn't even a float rotation of 2 yet. It's just very low. And we probably won't hit 10 today. So whereas on EDBL, we're already at, close to 8, and we'll come up to 10 even just during this. And now let's see, EDBL is, it's halted right now. So the volume's unchanged, but we'll check it as we continue. So EDBL, let's see, we'll pull this one up here just for a second. So this one right now is up 50% on the day. It does have a little bit of an issue on the daily chart, which is that it put in a big move a few days ago and sold off, and it put in a big move back here and then sold off. So to be honest, I think it definitely has resistance up here. This one doesn't have a standalone catalyst to really support the move today. It kind of surprises me that it's moving up as much as it is, but whatever. So definitely resistance at 1241. I would be shocked if it goes up another 100% and makes it to there. It squeezed up to 650 and is now halted coming back down. And this is going to be a problem when you don't have a really strong catalyst. That's not going to bring buyers. You need a strong catalyst to bring buyers in, because ultimately, of all of this volume right here, you're going to have people that are shorting into this move and are selling and unloading, and bag holders perhaps from over here who are getting out because they realize this doesn't have news. It's got nearby resistance. It's just, what are my expectations on it? So I didn't take any trades on EDBL today. I saw it as it was going into this halt at 424, but I was too slow to jump in. It resumed, it dipped. I had my order ready to add, and honestly, the volume was kind of like anemic at that point. I was expecting so much more volume, and I was just like, I don't know. I guess I'm just going to leave that alone. I don't know where the volume is. So it did go higher, but not that exciting. 2 halts in a row. It dips down. Then it pushes to a third halt, pushes higher, and then it halted down right here. TRSG, this is another one that I was watching but did not trade. Halted up, is a recent IPO. This one, some traders were talking about on Friday, but to be honest, not super clean chart. We'll full screen this so you can see it better. So this thing halts 1, 2, 3, 4 times. And then at one point, when it was halted down, it was showing a resumption of 50 cents or something. Resumption came up, it opened here. Halted up, was showing a resumption of way, way high. Then it opened and sold off and halted down. So weird resumption prices. Anyways, ends up dropping to 5. Rallied pre-market at 4 a.m. exactly. Pops right here. The 4 a.m. kind of algo spike. These are funny. I don't really know what to think of these a lot, but they do happen. Anyways, so squeezes up, but does a round trip, comes all the way back down. Goes sideways, pulls back, and then at the open, boom, halts up. I didn't see this before. Actually, no, I pulled it up just as it was halting, but it was too late to take a trade. So I was just like, that's interesting, but whatever. It opens, it surges higher, and then it reverses. And I was watching on the resumption, but look at this high volume red candle. Just a lot of selling, was not clean, did not see a good opportunity, so there was no trade on that. Now I'll show you my first trade of the day. My first trade of the day was on NIVF. NIVF. So this one, it comes out with news, and it's a non-binding term sheet for a reverse merger. And initially I'm like, I don't really care. This is a cheaper stock. I don't really like it. But man, this thing pushes to $1.10, $1.20, $1.30, $1.40. So finally I say, you know what? Micro pullback right here. I got in at $1.42. It hits a high of $1.46 and then flushes down. I stopped out with a $300 loss, first trade. It's like, golly, that's annoying. I then tried to buy right around here on the bottom of this candle for a dip, and it went lower. Lost another 500 on 5,000 shares. 5,000 shares max position, but took the full 5,000 on these 2 trades because it's a cheaper stock. Then it comes back up. I got back in, got a little scalp here, but I'm red on it. Red $917. So took a loss on NIVF. And then after that, SMFL was on my scans. So SMFL, I saw moving up the gap scan and the top gainers scanner. So the top gainers scanner right here, I'll see a stock like this moving up that scan. And so I saw, oh, it's moving up the scan, SMFL. And that was when it was up maybe just like 8% on the day. So that was right in this candle here as it popped up. So it pops up right here. And I checked the news at 9 a.m. and there was news of a reverse split, 7-to-1 reverse split. So I'm like, okay, it's a recent reverse split. Not by itself always the best catalyst, but usually we do well trading stocks that are recent reverse splits. So I was like, that's interesting. It curls back up here, and as it curls back up, I got in. And this candle goes from $4 all the way to a high of $5.40, $1.40 a share. That's not bad. My starter position, 2,500 shares, standard, nothing crazy. Added as it moved higher. So I had 5,000 shares and was able to lock up $4,494.33, almost $1 a share. That's pretty good. So that was a solid trade, but it was a little disappointing that it did sort of this drop back down. Now, in this area, I was starting to think about buying dips, and it's been holding up relatively well. But then we got into this issue where EDBL was halted and TRSG was halted and NIVF was halted. And I was like, all right, now I'm worried about attention being dispersed. I'm not sure what's obvious, but it's great to see that it's rallying back up. It's above my entries. So, we're moving in the right direction. Volume is increasing. This might have more in it. It's got a daily chart that is a turnaround story. It's been beaten up for a long time. So recent reverse split and then turning around. I would love to see it move higher, but I also was reminding myself today not to force it. If it's not going to happen, it's not going to happen. And I was feeling a little cautious because I didn't take my first trade until like 9 a.m. So sort of a slow start to the day. EDBL is halted again. Now EDBL has 2.6 million shares of volume. It's up 78%. So volume is increasing. SMFL has about 5 million shares of volume right now. That one's up 40%. I wish it had a stronger catalyst other than just the reverse split. But anyways, this is sometimes the case. So yeah, I started to feel like as we were getting further into the open, it wasn't clear to me which stock was obvious. And sometimes when that happens, and you still have a couple other stocks that are still getting a lot of attention, you don't get clean resolution. You'll get like a little sort of pop and then a flush. There's just not enough people watching. So for that reason, I think the safe move is to step back and slow down a little bit. And, perhaps if you're interested, wait until something really starts to pull away and then, buy dips as it moves higher. But I just don't want to catch a loss. And it's the beginning of the week, so I want to start the week, with a nice green day. So up $3,577.08 on the day. Not bad. Really only took a couple trades. Commissions are going to be low today. So, that's always nice. And, even though my daily goal is 5,000, I'm a little short on that. I did go red 1,100 today before I got myself into the green. So now I kind of feel like, hey, you got yourself in the green. That's certainly better than a red day. Don't push your luck. Don't overstay your welcome. So that's where we're at right now. Really trying to focus on being super disciplined, and I'm really trying to focus on being super consistent. So those are my goals for the month of April. We're kind of finishing it up here. We've got, let's see, what's the last day of the month? We've got this week and then Monday and Tuesday. So May 1st is on a week from Wednesday. Wow. All right. So we're cruising here. So May 1st, a week from Wednesday. And now look, SMFL is on the halt level down. So, this is where, it can be easy. You overstay your welcome. And next thing you know, you're in one halt down. This one's a halt up, but it also halted down just a few minutes ago, right here. So, all right, hold on to your hats, manage your risk. As always, my results aren't typical, so I'd encourage you to practice this simulator before you put real money on the line. And I hope you hit the thumbs up and subscribe to this channel if you enjoy episodes like this. All right, thanks guys for tuning in, and I'll see you back at it tomorrow.